want repentance. I will never celebrate the New Year as a festival again. Never.
Watch the full story end. The city was alive, not breathing, not feeling, but exploding. Skyscrapers shimmered like mirrors of fire, reflecting endless flashes of light as fireworks tore through the midnight sky. Streets were flooded with people, laughing, shouting, recording memories they believed would last forever. Music thundered from cars, rooftops, apartments, and clubs, shaking the air as if the city itself had a heartbeat. It was the final night of 2026. Everywhere you looked, there were smiles. Glasses raised in celebration. Digital countdowns glowing on giant screens. Social media feeds overflowing with the same two words again and again. Happy New Year. But beneath the noise, beneath the lights, beneath the laughter, something else was happening. Something unseen, something eternal. While the world was celebrating the future, fate was quietly sealing a decision. One that would not end with the night. In a city that refused to sleep. One soul was about to awaken to a reality no celebration could escape. Her name was Sophia, and before this night was over, the noise of the city would be replaced by a silence she could never run from. The hall was overflowing with life. Lights pulsed in rhythm with the music, shifting from gold to violet to blinding white. Every corner of the room was alive. People dancing, laughing, shouting into each other's ears, lost in the moment as if time itself had been paused just for them. Sophia stepped inside. The sound hit her first, deep, vibrating, almost intoxicating. It wrapped around her chest, drowning out thought, memory, and caution. Someone handed her a drink. Another person pulled her forward, urging her to join the crowd. Relax, someone laughed. It's just a celebration. Sophia smiled again, though something inside her tightened. She glanced around. Phones were raised everywhere, capturing filtered happiness for the world to see. Faces glowed, not from joy alone, but from screens, approval, and the need to belong. For a brief moment, her eyes drifted away from the lights that a strange heaviness brushed her heart. She remembered something she once knew, something she once cared about. But the music grew louder, and the thought slipped away before it could take shape. This is harmless, she told herself. Everyone does this. It's only one night. The countdown appeared on a giant screen. The room began to roar. 10. The crowd jumped, screamed, moved as one body. 9. Sophia felt her heartbeat match the rhythm of the numbers. 8. Hands were raised. Cameras focused. Smiles widened. 7. The air felt thick, almost heavy, but no one noticed. 6. 5. Sophia laughed, yet her chest felt tight. 4. A sudden dizziness washed over her. 3. The lights blurred. 2. Her fingers trembled. 1. The room exploded. Cheers tore through the hall. Confetti rained down. Fireworks outside shattered the sky. Voices collided into one deafening sound. Happy New Year! Sophia tried to cheer, but her voice never came out. The noise faded into a distant echo. Her vision darkened. And in the exact moment the world welcomed a new year, Sophia collapsed. Silence. Not the peaceful kind. Not the comforting kind. This silence was heavy, thick, crushing, alive. Sophia opened her eyes, but nothing greeted her. No ceiling, no walls, no light. Just darkness, so complete it felt like it was pressing against her skin. She tried to move her arms. They wouldn't respond. She tried to turn her head. Nothing. Panic surged through her chest as she attempted to scream, but her voice was gone, swallowed by the void. Her own breathing sounded distant, unnatural, as if the air itself did not belong to her anymore. The warmth of the celebration was gone. So was the music, the laughter, the countdown. In their place was a suffocating stillness. The ground beneath her felt cold, uneven, heavy, as if it was settling, tightening, closing in. Her heart began to race. Where am I? Why can't I move? Memories rushed in fragments. Lights, noise, falling, but none of them explained this place. Then she felt it. The walls, too close so close she could sense them without touching them. Her chest struggled for air. Each breath felt smaller than the last. The darkness seemed to lean toward her, pressing against her from every side. And suddenly, the truth struck her, not gently, but violently. This was not a hospital bed. This was not a dream. This was not unconsciousness. This was confinement. Burial, Sophia's soul trembled as realization wrapped around her like chains, that I'm alone, that I'm trapped, that I've been left. The silence deepened. No mercy, no pause. Then, from within that terrifying stillness, she heard footsteps, slow, heavy, unavoidable, and Sophia understood. This silence was only the beginning. The footsteps stopped. The silence that followed was worse than the darkness. Sophia could feel them before she saw them. A presence so heavy it made her soul shrink. The air itself seemed to withdraw, as if even it was afraid to remain. Then they appeared, not from a direction, not from a distance. They were simply there, towering figures, impossible to fully see, yet impossible to ignore. Their forms were wrapped in awe and terror, their faces hidden, their eyes unseen. But Sophia felt their gaze pierce straight through her. Her heart slammed violently against her chest. She wanted to look away. She couldn't. She wanted to close her eyes. They wouldn't close. That a voice spoke. That it wasn't loud. That it didn't need to be. That it carried a weight that shook her bones. Who is your Lord? Sophia's lips trembled. The answer was supposed to be easy. She had heard it all her life. But her mind was empty. Images rushed through her thoughts. Lights, music, laughter, crowds. But not the answer. Her tongue felt heavy, as if chained. She whispered. The ground beneath her tightened slightly. Fear exploded inside her chest. Who is your religion? Her breathing became frantic. Each breath scraped her throat like glass. Her thoughts raced, searching desperately for something solid to hold on to. But all she found was neglect. Silence answered in her place. The presence grew heavier. Who is your prophet? Tears streamed down her face, soaking into the unseen earth beneath her. Her chest burned with panic, regret, and terror woven together. She knew the answers once. She truly did. But knowing without living had left her empty. Her mouth opened. No words came out. The grave responded. The walls pressed closer. Her body shook as a truth more painful than the punishment itself settled into her soul. This was not a moment of learning. This was a moment of judgment, and she was unprepared. The fear she felt now was not fear of pain. It was fear of realizing she had arrived with nothing. The moment the last question faded, the grave responded, not with words, but with force. The earth beneath Sophia's body shifted, as if waking from a long sleep. The walls that once felt close now began to move, slowly, deliberately, pressing inward with merciless intent. Sophia gasped. The air thinned. Her chest struggled against an invisible weight, each breath smaller than the one before. Panic clawed at her throat as the darkness grew heavier, denser, alive. Then the pain came. Not sudden, not sharp. It began deep within, an unbearable pressure that crushed her ribs, squeezed her bones, and wrapped around her like iron chains. Her body trembled, but there was nowhere to escape. No space to turn. No place to hide. She screamed. The sound never left her mouth. The grave tightened again. A wave of heat surged beneath her, rising like fire from the depths of the earth. It burned, not just her skin, but her soul. Every regret she had ever ignored now screamed within her consciousness. Her thoughts shattered. Please, she begged silently. Please, give me one chance. But the grave did not listen. The darkness pressed closer, so close she felt the earth against her face, her chest, her limbs. Her body was pinned, helpless, trapped between walls that obeyed no mercy. Then a voice echoed, not harsh, not loud, but final. This is the place you prepared for yourself. The words struck harder than the pain. Images flooded her mind. Moments she laughed instead of prayed. Times she followed the crowd instead of truth. Nights she silenced her conscience for comfort. She understood now. The punishment was not random. It was not sudden injustice. It was the consequence of choices, made freely, repeated willingly. The fire beneath her intensified. The grave compressed again. Sophia's soul cried out, not for escape, but for a return to a moment she could never reach. Again, regret wrapped around her tighter than the earth itself. And in that suffocating darkness, one truth became undeniable. The celebration had lasted a night. The punishment had no end in sight. Then, something changed. The pain did not stop, but it no longer surprised her. Sophia's screams faded into silent sobs as her mind began to clear, painfully clear. The chaos of fear was replaced by something heavier, understanding. The darkness around her remained, yet inside her, memories began to light up, one by one, not randomly, not mercifully. She saw herself as she once was. Moments she delayed prayer because she was busy. Days she followed trends instead of truth. Times she laughed at reminders, calling them too extreme. She saw every excuse she had ever made. It's not that serious. Allah is forgiving. I'll change later. Later, the word echoed in her soul like a cruel joke. Then the final memory returned, clearer than all the rest. That night, the lights, the music, the countdown. She saw herself standing there, smiling, celebrating, while her heart quietly turned away from something eternal. Only now did she understand that it was never just about one night, that it was never just about celebration. That night had exposed a truth she spent years hiding, from others and from herself. She had known, she had been reminded, and she had still chosen. Tears streamed endlessly as regret wrapped around her heart like thorns. I believed I had time, she realized. I believed death would wait. But death does not wait, and truth does not bend. The punishment was not unfamiliar anymore. It felt deserved. That realization hurt more than the crushing walls, more than the fire beneath her, because now she knew Allah had not wronged her. She had wronged herself. Her soul cried, not in protest, but in surrender. If only she had listened, if only she had stopped, if only she had chosen differently. But the grave did not respond to if onlys, it only responded to deeds. And in that suffocating darkness, Sophia finally understood a truth too late for salvation. The world forgives distractions. The grave remembers choices. Then came the truth, not as thunder, not as fire, but as certainty that a presence filled the grave, not one that could be seen, but one that could not be denied. It was not bound by darkness or earth. It reached Sophia where no punishment had reached yet, her soul, and a message was delivered, not spoken aloud, yet heard more clearly than any sound she had ever known. You were not ignorant. You were not forced. You were not unaware. Each sentence struck her with terrifying clarity. You knew what was right. You recognized the truth when it came to you. But when the moment demanded a choice, you chose comfort. Sophia's soul trembled. Memories returned, not of sins alone, but of warnings, that a reminder she scrolled past, that a verse she heard but ignored, that a feeling in her heart she silenced. You did not fall suddenly. The message continued. You drifted. And when the final moment came, your heart followed the direction you had already chosen. Tears flowed endlessly, but they brought no relief. The truth settled heavily. Allah had never abandoned her. She had slowly walked away. The celebration she defended so lightly was not condemned because of noise or lights, but because it symbolized something deeper. Choosing the world when the soul was calling for restraint, seeking approval while ignoring accountability, living as if death was distant. Then the final message came, slow, unyielding, eternal. The world promised you joy and gave you distraction. The grave promised nothing and revealed everything. Sophia understood now. The fireworks had faded in seconds. The applause had vanished in moments. But her deeds had followed her faithfully into the silence. There would be no rewind, no explanation, no second beginning. Only justice. And through her fate, a message was sent, not just to her, but to every soul still breathing. Do not measure your life by nights of celebration. Measure it by moments of obedience. Do not assume forgiveness while delaying repentance. Do not trade eternity for applause, because one day the city will still be alive and you will be completely alone. Outside, the world continued. Fireworks still shattered the sky. Music still pounded through crowded streets. People still laughed, danced, and counted down moments they thought were theirs to enjoy. But Sophia's story had ended. Beneath the earth, in silence heavier than the loudest celebration, her choices weighed forever. And now, the message reaches you. If you are willing to hear it, the world is fleeting, its lights, its noise, its parties, they vanish in seconds. But your deeds, your choices, they follow you everywhere, even into the grave, even into eternity. Do not be deceived by comfort. Do not follow crowds blindly. Do not measure life by applause, screens, or fleeting joys. Remember, each moment ignored, each warning dismissed, each prayer delayed adds up. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, the night will end, the city will wake, and the world will move on. But death does not wait, and truth does not bend. What you plant in your life now, the good, the bad, the choices you make, will be your company when the world no longer surrounds you. Sophia's fate is not a story of despair. It is a mirror. Look carefully. Learn before it is too late. Do not celebrate the world and forget your soul. Do not trade eternity for a fleeting moment. Do not ignore what will matter when all else fades, because one day, your world will be silent. One day, the lights will vanish, and one day, only your deeds will speak. Will they speak in your favor or against you? The choice is yours before the grave chooses for you.